What's up YouTube, I'm just another guy and welcome back to Gibraltar United. So here we are today, we've got the Champions League draw to go through. I think we'll go through that first and then we'll explore how the other teams in from Gibraltar did in Europe. So let's go to the inbox and we'll do the draw now, otherwise I'll be an idiot and forget. We're a third seeded team. Were we a third seeded team last year? I think I said second in the previous video. No, I thought we were a second seeded team last year, were we not? We had Lyon, Real Betis, and another rubbish team. I feel like we were a third seeded team, a second seeded team. But either way, we're a third seed this year, so going to be playing a tough team. As you can see, there are quite a few three French teams in the top seed. But I think Lyon are the team obviously we're going to be aiming for from the first. Anyway, we'll draw the first two like we normally do, or draw up to the point where we're available, and we'll judge on these groups. So I wouldn't mind Group G. I'll say it off the bat. I wouldn't mind Group G. Probably wouldn't mind Group F either. Or A. I'd probably take Group A, F, or G right now. And definitely C. C is probably the easy group. So one of them four. If I could avoid the likes of Man U, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Napoli, Schalke, Madrid as well, I'd like to avoid that. If I could avoid any Spanish teams pretty much, or Man U and stuff, then I'd be pretty happy. So let's go. So Porto, no. All right, so we've got a 33% chance of getting one of these. Oh, we got 30. I'll say a 66% chance getting a group that I wouldn't mind having. But ideally, I'd want Group F out of this. I think PSG, Benfica, I think are two very beatable teams. However, again, Ajax are a beatable team. Monaco, I think, would be a nice challenge, a nice alternative to play a different French team this year. Let's see what we get. There we go, we get Group F, so we'll be playing Benfica and Paris Saint-Germain, so we're playing them another 2 times in Europe. Let's see who the last team in our group are, or is really, and it's FC Copenhagen. So let's continue that forward, and we'll have a little look. And also, actually, I've got some transfer news. I completely slipped my mind. I've got a new signing to talk about. Only one new signing, but I think I'll just add to squad depth this guy that I've signed anyway. But here we go. We've got our draw. We were playing PSG, Benfica, and FC Copenhagen. And obviously, you'll be seeing the first game of this qualifying group, which will be against Benfica, away from home. So a pretty nice way to start off. A pretty difficult way, but also like a nice way in that sort of we'll get a difficult challenge to start off with and really test our new signings. I'm going to go into the transfer very quickly. So the one guy and only guy we've signed officially in this window has been Javier Selepa, I think Selepa maybe. 21 years of age, centre back from Argentina. We signed him from the Argentinian Premier Division, and past 2 years have been pretty good in that level. At that level, I should say. We signed him for 8.25 million. Now, I believe after a certain amount of appearances, he gets some sort of clause. Let me have a little look at that. Because it's not all up front. I know that for a fact. There we go. Yeah. So 825,000 after 50 league appearances. So it's not all up front, but it's a massive chunk of it is, in fact, is what is it, about 10% of it is over that after that 50 games, so it's not even a lot. But yeah, I'm happy with this guy. He's a nice little backup player, a nice little alternative to having that defence. May even be pushing Bakayoko for the starting position because he's got that potential in him to maybe better Bakayoko. But yeah, he may be a player you see. Hopefully you'll see him a little bit in the group stages. Currently injured when joining us. But yeah, I'm happy with this guy, Javier Selepa. I think 8.25 million is quite a cheap signing for us nowadays. So yeah, I'm happy with this signing. And on the outs, we've sold a few people. We sold Sammy Fellows to Leo FC for £1,900. Oh, was I bashed my mic? God damn it, stop doing that. And James Allen we sold to Magpies for £3,500. So yeah, well, again, I'm going to delay looking at how the other teams did in Europe because I just want to talk about the transfers in the league. It sort of clicks me there that I need to talk about who was brought in and out from the league. So a lot of loan deals, as you can see. Fiorentina loaned a player out to Lincoln, which is nice, good to see. They also loaned a player from Colo-Colo from Uruguay, isn't it? I think it's Uruguay. So Lincoln, as you can see, loaning a few players, and I expect a bit more business to be done today. You can't see the date up here, but it is transfer deadline day, so I expect Lincoln to be busy today. But in terms of actual money signings, as you can see, Lincoln are again the team spending the money. Now, there again, as like it was last year, there's been money being handed out between teams. So, Britannia to Gibraltar Phoenix, links to Britannia, links to Britannia again. So the top 3 signings, apart from me and Lincoln, or transactions to take place in the league, apart from me and Lincoln, were between Britannia and another team. So still not seeing the other teams in this league bringing these foreign players. Like I say, only Lincoln seem to be the team doing that right now. And my assumption for the reasons behind it are the fact that they can actually scout European teams. What might be true is that all the other teams in this league still have their scouting knowledge and scouting range limited to just Gibraltar, so just the nation. So they can't bring in or can't scout the players that they could potentially get. Meanwhile, Lincoln, they probably have a worldwide scouting knowledge now, worldwide, or the ability to scout worldwide, therefore they're benefiting from that, and which is why we're seeing transfers from the likes of, Colo Chile, aren't they? Yeah, Chile. I did say Chile, didn't I? Anyway, yeah, you know, we're seeing likes of people from Chile, people from Brazil. You know, we're seeing a variety of players coming in. But Lincoln overall look like a decent team. They've signed some decent players. Like I say, nothing incredible, nowhere near the level we're at. But don't get me wrong, they're not bad either. They're improvements to what they did have at their team. So that's the news with Lincoln. And you know what? We'll start off with them and talk about how they've done in Europe so far. So to start off, they played Metalist. From where are they from again? Ukraine. So a very tough game actually. To be honest, you know, good reputation, Metalist, and yeah, to only lose 1-0 at home, it gave them a fighting chance in the second leg. Obviously, for Lincoln, they need to do what we did in Europe and make their home games make their home a fortress. You know, make their home a difficult place for foreign teams to come to, and you know that's what they didn't do in this game, disappointingly. You know, they lost 1-0. Let's have a little look at the match stats, because I haven't looked at this myself yet, so this is all still pretty new for me. But yeah, as you can see, not a bad, you know, they weren't too far away from them, but in the end, they conceded that goal, lost 1-0, and in the second leg, the same result happened. They lost 1-0, conceded early on, so at that point, they knew they had to score 2 to go through. Well, they needed 2 to go through anyway, but 2 would have been enough to put them through. But yeah, they were dominated, and like us in Europe, away from home, they're just not the same team. So disappointing to see them being knocked out of the best placed playoff third qualifying phase. However, as you can see against Club Bruges, they recently lost 2-1 to them. Again, at home, no losing. It's probably unlikely they'll go through, but they put up a good performance against Club Bruges and tried to give them a run for their money, even though it didn't quite work. So let's go to the next team. We'll go to Magpies next. So they lost to AEK. What is that? Athens, isn't it? Or is it? I don't know. It's AEK. It's AEK right now. So they lost 1-0 at home. Again, they're a better team at home than they are away. I can tell you that just by looking at the 2 results. But they lost 1-0. In all honesty, they probably should have won the game. Individual performances let them down. Obviously, I mean, they may have only got 53. I mean, they may have conceded in the 53rd minute, and the defensive ratings might have suffered for that reason. But really, when you consider how many shots they had, the attacking team have got to look at themselves and say, look, if we'd have scored a few goals here, we might have had something. We could have really looked to try and defend in the away game. They didn't, therefore the away game was a different tie, and they ended up losing 7-0. They got 2 men sent off. Wow. And yeah, they were just completely battered. So AEK knocked out Bruno's and Magpies. The next team, who are, I always forget who the next team is. Lions. Next team is Lions. They played Rijeka? I think they're from Iceland. No, Croatia. Completely wrong country. Completely different sides of Europe, pretty much. So yeah, they played a Croatian team and they lost 2-0 start off with at home and lost 2-0 away. Again, another team getting a player sent off. I don't know what is with Gibraltarian teams just getting players sent off. It's needless. Come on, lads. But it does mean that only Man 62 are left. They have the Europa League tied to tomorrow. I think they'll have it. So what I'll do now is I will cut this video here. We will jump to the next game, which will be against Benfica, and then we'll talk about who Man 62 have got in their Europa League campaign and whether or not Lincoln made it there. And also as well, something I forgot to mention in the previous video that I'll mention now just because it should sort of be mentioned. We do have our stadium. I don't know if any of you guys, I think someone in the previous video said that they saw that it was being cancelled or something, but that's not true. We've got our stadium, 13,000 seater stadium, Guy Arena. I was able to set my pitch diameters, my pitch dimensions, sorry, not diameters, dimensions for the first time. I set it as standard, and hopefully Guy Arena will become an amazing stadium for us. I mean, I could live com the first home game, which would be against PSG. I think I'm going to do that. I'll live com the first home game in Europe at Guy Arena. It'll be the first ever time we played a European game at home. It'll just be that magical moment. And yeah, it'd just be a great moment. So I'll meet you guys back for the PSG game. Scrap that Benfica one. We'll come back for PSG. So until then, guys, I'll see you guys in a second. I don't need to do an outro thing. Okay, guys, so we've got a few things to go through before I jump into this game against PSG today. So that is obviously the previous fixtures. We won the Pepe Reyes Cup against Lincoln. 4-0, very comfortable, easy victory for us. Playing my strongest possible 11. In the next game and the first Champions League group game, we played Benfica. And this was away from home, and this game was very disappointing. The fact of the matter is that we were 2-1 up, and in fact we had a 2-goal lead on 2 separate occasions and were unable to finish off the game. One thing that extremely disappointed me was the fact that we looked pretty comfortable, and we looked like, throughout the entire game, the better team and the team that were going to go on and win it. And even looking at the individual match performances right now, you know, the likes of Fumasa, the likes of Leroux, Lavalenne, Sidibe, Barui, you know, these are players that didn't get over a 7 rating, but none of them got less than a 6.6, you know. And if I look at Benfica's team, again, their worst player was a 6.1, 6.2. Overall, it was an even match. You could argue a draw was deserved, but to me, we let ourselves down defensively, giving away 2 sloppy goals in the second half to Matheus. So, starting off the campaign with a draw to Benfica was not the way I planned it going. Anyway, though, after that, we played our first ever home game in Guy Arena, and we won 7-0 against Lincoln. A mighty victory by Gibraltar United against Lincoln. Obviously, our closest rivals, or in terms of league competition anyway. Sidak had the luxury of scoring the first ever goal in the stadium. I will put the highlights onto goals so you can sort of get a 3D look at the stadium. I'm not sure if it'll lag or not. It probably will. But yeah, you know, great victory from us. This home needs to be a fortress. We're not in 3D, so I will... Oh, no. I pressed spacebar instead of pause. So let me go back on that and let me try and get it so I can see the goal in 3D. So we'll go on... what should we go on? TV? TV will give us more of a zoomed out look at it, I think. Or main stand, close. No, we don't want to do close. Rail. I'm just trying to give you guys a view of the stadium, really. There's a little view of the stadium. So as you can see, it's a nice little stadium, and we'll play the first goal. Like I say, it's a nice stadium. It looks visually all right. You know, it's visually pleasing, I guess. You know, no, all the corners are filled in. It's just a nice looking stadium. And like I say, Sadek has scored the first ever goal at this stadium. So that is a little bit of history right there. And then after that, we played also as well, by the way, in that game, we broke the record attendance for the league. We broke our record attendance for the league as well. I think, I don't know what it was, maybe with our league record or something, but if it said we broke a record, like I say, it was for the league. I think we broke 2, although I can't quite remember. But yeah, 8,051 people rocking up, and we, by the way, this is a 13,000 capacity stadium. Expect 13,000 for this PSG game today. So yeah, it's nice to see that we are filling a decent amount of it still, you know, even with this increase. You know, bear in mind that it was 5,000 last time, so you've got 3,000 more people rocking up to watch the Lincoln game. Again, I know that it probably won't stay at that level because Lincoln are the highest reputed team in this league. It's a sort of rivalry, I believe. I don't actually, it might not be. And you know, first ever home game here, so I expected a bumper crowd, but hopefully we can keep it around that level. That'd be nice to see. And then, yeah, like I said, we beat Magpies 7-2. Sonogo scored a hat-trick. Dos Santos scored a hat-trick. It was our second team. That's why we conceded 2. Otherwise, I thought we would have probably done enough. And Ken Butler played as well for us. So that's the news with Gibraltar. The team, Gibraltar United, the Gibraltar national team I want to talk about because I've got a few things I need to mention. So I've got some friendlies coming up soon, Montenegro and Bermuda. But we did play friendlies very recently. We beat Hong Kong 3-1 in a very nice performance from the team. It was a nice, strong display. And we also had a guy making his first ever appearance for the national team. And it is Marola. Marola, our player, the former Italian player, is now a Gibraltarian player. A Gibraltar player, technically a Gibraltarian now. So this is an incredible achievement for the national team. He's currently playing centre attacking mid for us. I think his attacking ability, it will be really appreciated up front. And we actually played Wales as well. We played in that game. We lost 5-1, but this was a game where tiredness really affected us. I really don't like international breaks when we're playing 2 games in, you know, a space of about 4 days. This was because our players just couldn't maintain the performance level that they needed to. We actually took the lead in this game. Simon Hope scored in the 9th minute, and it looked pretty good. You know, it looked like we were going well for a very long time. I thought we were actually going to get to half-time 1-0 up, but they scored 2 late goals in the first half, and that was an indication of what was to come. You know, like I said, we just couldn't maintain the performance level, and as a result, we fell apart in the second half. Wales completely dominated us start to finish, don't get me wrong. You know, they did deserve the victory, and they probably deserved a 5-1 scoreline. They had a lot of good opportunities, but Fofana in the defence were doing a lot to block and save them for a very long time in the game. Like I said, up to the 43rd minute, we were brilliant defensively. I couldn't really fault them. Okay, we were giving away chances, but like I expect that. But the way we performed, the saves that the keeper made of Fofana, you know, and the defence, how they performed up until the first goal went in, could not be faulted. And like I said, again, we lost 5-1, but there were encouraging signs in this match from the national team. And I've also got one more player that I can call up to this national team, but for some reason they won't let me right now, and it is El Habib Baroui. He is actually now eligible to play for the national team, and I've tried to call him up, and as you can see, it says here he's been selected in the squad by another nation. Now, his only other nation, from my knowledge, is Algeria. Actually, Algerian, French, and Gibraltar. So he can play for any 3 of them. He's obviously not in the French team. That's a bit obvious. So I went to the Algerian national team, and I couldn't see him in this list of names. So I don't know because he's in this under-23 squad, a squad that he's not even eligible for. I can't call him up, so it's a little bit frustrating right now. But El Habib Baroui will hopefully be someone we can call up in the future. Now he's actually eligible for that, so that's not good. You know, we're definitely incorporating a few more players. I know someone asked Bakayoko, and I did mention to him Bakayoko can't be called up to our national team because he plays for the Ivory Coast already. Something to bear in mind, that if these guys ever get capped for their international teams, my chance of calling them up is impossible. It is impossible. I know in real life Diego Costa has played for the Brazil national team and the Spanish national team. I don't know how that has applied to him, but in this game you have to, once you've played for a national team, which is the rule from what I know everywhere else apart from in Diego Costa's experience, if you play for a national team, you can no longer play for any other national team, which is why the likes of Harry Wilson was called up to the Welsh national team a while ago, even though he was only 16. It's because Wales wanted to secure him and officially make him a Welsh player, so England couldn't call him up. But it does mean we do have a few people still in this team that could potentially play for us, the likes of Martinez, Lavalen, Fumasa, Toto. I don't think has played for Brazil yet. So we do have players still in this squad. Maria as well. I think there are a few others, don't get me wrong, but those are a few that I can remember. Dos Santos has played for Uruguay, hasn't he, already? No, he hasn't. So actually, Dos Santos could be someone to come through very soon, although I think he might be in the Uruguay squads, which is why he's decided not to officially say that he's eligible, because it's a choice. So even once they've stayed 5 years and if they haven't been called up by the national team, it still comes down to a choice of whether they want to make themselves eligible or not. And Maria, straight away, as soon as it became available, he was like, Marola, sorry, as soon as it became available, he said, yep, call me up to the national team, and that's what I did. But yeah, we've got one more thing to go through, or 2 more things. How did the other teams do in Europe? So last time I left you off, Lincoln had not, we've not found out, or a second ago when I left you off, at Lincoln, we didn't know how Lincoln's fate of the Europa League was going to be. They lost 2-0 in the away leg, which meant they were knocked out 4-1 on aggregate, and Man 62 got their draw for the Europa League. They will be playing Bayern Leverkusen, Galatasaray, and Steaua Bucharest in their Europa League group, an impossible group for them to get out of. Let's face it, they'll be lucky to finish 3rd in that group, but it's going to be a nice experience for them. And obviously they're going to get to travel around to the likes of Turkey, Romania. Is that Romania? Yes, it is Romania, and Germany, of course. So yeah, let's get into this PSG game now. We'll run through the starting lineup for our first ever European game at Guy Arena. So Martinez is in goal, Toto is at right back, Fumasa, Bakayoko and Leroux make up the rest of our defence. It was actually originally planned that Selpa would be in that back 4 instead of Bakayoko, but Selpa picked up an injury which kept him out of this game. Lavalen playing ball-winning midfielder for us now. Marola has dropped to the bench, but Lavalen looks like a good player. Hopefully he can perform well. If he doesn't perform in these Champions League games, obviously there's always Marola there to bring on. Sidibe is centre mid. The attacking midfield from right to left is Hamerli, Perez and Sadek. And up front we have Rudimanov. The bench is Gibraltarian Fofana, Amada, Jesse Clark, Gibraltarian Marola, Ben Abdallah, Maria and Musa Sinogo. So let's get into this game. The reason I pointed out them 2 players are Gibraltarian is because we've actually got 2 Gibraltarian players on the bench, which is a real rarity for us. It really is. So yeah, with us drawing our first game against Benfica and PSG winning, we do sort of need a win today, or I'm expecting a win today actually at home against PSG. We've got Leroux obviously returning to play them, but we've improved the side, you know, since we last saw them. We've got a new left attacking mid, we've got a new right attacking mid. Heck, we're even playing a new defensive mid, even though Lavalem was there before, obviously. We're playing a new guy in that position. I'm going to go to 2D Classic. But yeah, hopefully we can get a result. We do need a win right now. 2 games without a win in the Champions League would not be great. And as we're on the attack early on, Sadek gives it back to Leroux. Will we whip this one in? He does, and Owen Hamerly manages to squeeze that one in. It does count towards him. I thought they might give it to the defender, but we do manage to squeeze it in. We do take the lead against PSG. 16 minutes into the match, and we score our first ever European goal in Guy Arena. And yeah, Hamerly wasn't the cleanest of headers. I don't even think he headed it. It looked more like he hit his body. But either way, 1-0, we take the lead. And now it's about hopefully adding to that. 1-0 is probably not enough against PSG. Here is Sadek with a corner. Rudimanov hits the bar and Bakayoko is there to head the rebound in. I'm going to say lovely work for set piece, but I know it wasn't. But yeah, nice set piece from us. It managed to work. The actual original set piece, Sadek to Rudimanov, that did work perfectly. I actually don't even know if he was aiming for him, actually, like he was aiming for the other bloke. But either way, that set piece originally was great. Rudimanov just couldn't keep the shot down enough. And Bakayoko, like I say, simple enough, headers it in. Why is no one closing down Nicholas there? Why is no one... Why did we just sit off Nicholas? Here's Denise. And, oh wow, good save from Martinez. Nicholas, who we didn't close down originally, was in the box, unmarked. So close to the goal. Wow. Really good save from Martinez there. Alright, can we get a third? Rudimanov is asking that question of the goalkeeper and of the PSG defence. We are kept out for now. However, the danger is not completely cleared. It is Rudimanov again, edge of the box this time, and he's this time tackled. And they will look to try and build a counter-attack up. They've got a lot of shirts forward. I guess blue shirts forward. And when we get it clear, we do just about. Oh, God, we are being made to really, really work to keep this clean sheet right now. I'd like to see a clean sheet as well. We haven't kept many in the Champions League. Is Silva, and as I say that, as I say that, they're going to score. I don't actually know how that didn't end up in the back of the net, and I don't know how that guy was offside. But I'm going to take it. I'm not going to ask too many more questions of the referee, because I thought they might give away a penalty. And what's Leroux done there? Why is he just had a dig? You know, he should have just kept running. Plenty of space to run into. But 2-0 at half-time. Great performance so far from the team. I guess the only thing I could ask for was a little bit more solid defensively. You know, we've given PSG a few chances, but this is a team that consistently reached the quarterfinals or beyond of the Champions League. Therefore, if we can beat them 2-0 today and also put in a good performance with them away from home, then the team has obviously improved from last year. Here is Silva with the ball for PSG, looking to try and get them one back as we approach the hour mark. Hamerly wins the ball, and we are able to hopefully create a counter-attack. Rudimanov is brought down at the halfway line. That's surely going to be a yellow card for Durand. Or is it a red? No, it is a yellow. Okay, that's just the amount of time it was taken. I was like, wait, is it going to be a red? I didn't read the bottom what actually happened. It might have been an elbow, but it wasn't. Abdullah Salek as well. I really want to talk about him. I like what I've seen from him so far. Our left attacking midfielder. He looks amazing. And as you can see, he takes all my set pieces as well. So Sadek is going to be a very crucial player for our Champions League campaign. How Owen Hamerly didn't score that there, I think I have an idea why. I think his first touch wasn't good enough. He seemed to take a long time to compose and set himself for the shot. I guess he overestimated how much time he had. He did have a little bit of time, but overestimated it. So yeah, Perez is going to come off the field of play now. We're going to make that substitution. We are going to bring Hamza Ben Abdallah on in that position. And let's continue the game. I don't see any other changes I want to make. Fumasa's not playing particularly well with a 6.6 out there, but I don't want to disrupt this defense because so far it's kept a clean sheet, which I guess is enough. It's a DB with a free kick, and oh my God, there was that guy I was on about. Hamerly does scored, but Sebdak with the opportunity from the original free kick, from the original cross in, very good header in that opposite corner. Oh, the keeper actually saved that. Wow, keeper should let that one go. In fact, he's got to be blamed for that goal, surely. Because him keeping the ball in play has allowed Bakayoko to cross it back in for Owen Hamerly to score. Normally, that would be probably said the other way around. But either way, 3-0 against PSG. What a result. And overall, what a performance as well. From the individual team, from the individuals and as a team, and from the team as a whole. Benfica are beating Copenhagen as well, so it would put us above them. It would put us top of the table, I believe. Yes, I'm correct in saying that. So it puts us top of the table above Benfica and PSG. All right, here's Toto. Are we going to get one more late opportunity in this game? Or are PSG going to get their chance to score a goal? I'd like to see Martinez keep a clean sheet, but Perez gets through and it's a great save from Martinez. It's been a long time since we've seen a PSG highlight. In fact, it's probably been 45 minutes since we've seen a PSG highlight. But when we finally did see one, Martinez was there and alert to save it. And again, he's there to save it. So that should be the game. 3-0 beating PSG. What a game from us. What a game from the lads. It's going to be a very long video as well. I know it's going to be over 20 odd minutes. And apologies for that. I will get this video a little bit more precise next time round, because it's the first time I've done a video in this format, and we also won't have the big jump in fixtures. It'll be the first Champions League game next time. I just felt the first ever home game in Europe, I wanted to live com, and I was right to do so, because we've beaten our biggest rivals in this group, PSG, and our biggest rivals for the past few years in Europe very comfortably in our first ever home game. So 800k being given to us. The Argentina manager is spotted at the stadium, obviously looking at the long list of, well, they've listed all the PSG players' names, but you have to bear in mind that we do have Martinez, Lavallenne also in our squad who could play for that national team. And I'm just going to end this video by looking at the finances with 60 million in deposit in the bank. And bearing in mind that we spent so much money over the summer, we are doing great. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the TV revenue for this year is going to be 90+ million. So we'll have more than enough money this year to cover ourselves. So this will be it for now, guys. Until next time, peace out.